Hey there, it's John Anthony Francis Wilcox, and today is Saturday, the 13th of May, 2023. How you doing? So, let's see what's been going on. So, my great niece Isabella had to go for some important surgery on Monday, and that went well, thankfully. She's in recovery, very happy. Sure love my great niece Isabella. And done a bunch of work during the week. That's really been the big focus of my week, I suppose. I've done a lot of stuff for my website, and uh, uh, pleased to do so. So, a couple of things I want to talk about, and I think I'm going to start with I had some really unusual dreams this week. And you'll forgive me if I forget which exact days or evenings they came, but the first one I remember having that was really odd is I was in New Haven in the dream, and I was supposed to go and photograph a gig at Toad's Place. Only it wasn't where Toad's Place is on York Street. It was around the corner where there used to be Cutler's Records. I don't know if it's still there. I don't think it is. I think it's something else at this point. But I could be wrong. It's been years since I've been there. Um, and I know that while I couldn't see them well, in my head it said that the band Girl School was playing, and then it was going to be someone else after them, a woman with a three-name, and the Yardbirds. And I never did go in, but I seem to remember somehow within the dream, within that, knowing that my friend Roz was supposed to be with me, which I don't think Roz was ever in Toad's Place that I recall. She'll let me know about that. Um, I'm embarrassed if she was and I have forgotten it, but hey, I'm getting old. Um, and then I was, from there, I found myself in like a VFW kind of hall with a couple of long tables, like service tables, and on them were a series of maple frosted cakes. And at the far right end was a garbage pail, and in the garbage pail was about three-quarters of a multi-layer chocolate cake with, like, I don't know if you'd say confetti style frosting, like white with different specks of different colors, like that, in the garbage. And I looked at that, and for some reason, my friends Allison and the other Laura, not the good Laura, the other Laura, who I don't talk to anyone anymore, were both there. Oddly enough, I had been to Toad's with both of them. This wasn't in Toad's, though. This was like in a hall somewhere. And then, after that, I was going back to Toad's to go photograph a band that does not exist called Cicada Head. But now, the upshot of that dream is I want to do some music and call myself Cicada Head. So don't you take that. Don't you steal my name. So that was one dream. Another dream, it was a two-part dream. And in the first part, I was at my old house, sitting on a couch with my dear, dear friend Suzanne, who had never been in that house, mind you. And we were talking about stuff to get at the store. And she wanted like an equivalent of a leave that was either called Exact Exalt or Exalt Exact, one or the other. And when she described this, I could see it. She suggested, or maybe I suggested, but I think Sue suggested these Star Trek The Next Generation pancakes. And they were, oh, that's a That's a itchy part of my back. Hold on, you're gonna share itching with me. Oh, that's better. So there we go, less itchy. There you go. They were kind of like this weird, about this wide and about that long, weird kind of rounded rectangular pancakes. I could see them. We didn't get them, but when she mentioned them, I could visualize them because it's a dream, you know. And I was supposed to. Sometime it was me going to the store, or my dad was going to go to the store, but we never got to that point. And I switched dreams, and I believe I was in the center of downtown Norwalk with a digital camera, and I could look up in the sky, and about a half a mile up in the air was this perfectly round floating island. And in the middle of it was a huge face, well, I suppose the whole body of a Smurf. Clouds around the floating island and such. And it was during some kind of event where I saw like people eating ice cream and all sorts of that, things like that. And I know that that was because I got my friend Bob got me a pile of free comic book day comics, and one of those was a Smurf book. And in fact, going back to the Next Generation Pancakes, one was a Star Trek comic book. So perhaps those infected my brain that way. And there was so that was that dream. And last night I dreamt, and this is the second time in recent weeks that I've dreamt I was going somewhere to see Genesis put on a complete performance of The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway with that lineup, you know, Peter Gabriel, Phil Collins, Steve Hackett, Mike Rutherford, Tony Banks. And they were all in sections of the dream. And I had also done these big paintings. And I was again at my old house, and I found these kind of abstract impressionist paintings of the different members of Genesis. I remember one had Tony Banks wearing not one but two pairs of sunglasses, one forward of the other. It was very weird. Um, and I came across all these paintings. They look kind of good, you know. I wish I had painted them in real life, but I hadn't. They were dream things. And then I was discussing with different people in the band arguments within the band. They weren't getting along, and it just went on. And I never did get to see them perform any of the Lamb, and it morphed into something that I don't remember. Anyway, those are some dreams I had during the week. So, also, I want to say, so tomorrow is Mother's Day, and to all the mothers out there, I wish you a wonderful Mother's Day. And I feel bad, you know. My mother died back in 2009, as you know, and I mean, I miss her every day, so it's not like I miss her more on any one day. Same with my dad, you know, with Father's Day next month, as well as his birthday, what would have been his 96th birthday, I believe. Let me think about that. Yes. So he would have been 96. And so I was thinking about that, and Mother's Day, Father's Day. And I suppose what I do, rather than a gift, the best I can do in terms of a gift is I have tried always to live a life that they would look at favorably. They'd go, "You're trying, John." Even though we're not around anymore to be a shoulder to lean on, and they were, believe me, they were massive shoulders to lean on. And I tried to be that for them as they got older and more infirmed. But I try and be a good product of the Anthony and Jane Wilcox line. I do my best every day. I think of them every day. I try and honor their memory by being the kind of person I hope they would hope that I would try to be. Is that a lot of hopes? There's a lot of hope. Um, and I love them both immeasurably. Um, if you any of your parents are alive, make sure after you see this, get off of here and tell them that you love them. It's very important. I It meant a lot to me knowing that I had that closure even after I lost both my folks, because I always told them both that I loved them, and I tried to treat them in a way that they knew that I loved them. Sure, we had disagreements and arguments and that all the time. My mom, all you needed to have an argument with my mom was my mom in a room, whether or not there were people in it. If there was a pot in there, she could argue with that pot. She just could. But she was adorable, and so was Dad. Dad was his arguing days. There were very few later in life. Um, I think he was appreciative that he was still alive. He lived to be 87. He died in 2014. Um, Boy, it's been a long time for both of them. And anyway, I'm blathering on. I love you all. I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.